Hey guys, Grifton here, and today we are talking about feral cat spec tanking in Wrath. Before we get started, if you like these videos, please take the time to like and subscribe as it really helps me out. Also, if you want to see me test all of this live, you can follow me on twitch.tv/Griftonish, or just keep an eye out as I stream on YouTube as well. Okay, I recently put out a post on my YouTube channel asking for suggestions on what to test in the Wrath beta. One of the comments was this: I'm interested in possible hybrid specs to have the second spec free, so no feral. In the Druid Discord, I learned there may be ways to do 95% cat with solid damage that is able to tank a 5 and 10 heroic and maybe third or off tank for everything else only by switching gear, just like TVC. Can you show such a spec and test it? Every good feral should be willing to tank from time to time. Having a free second spec would be a game changer, and I have not thought about it before. I thought feral is the only way to go. Okay, great question. So the concept is simple. You're a cat, you want to save your secondary spec for something other than tank, maybe PvP, maybe a healer or boomkin, and you still want the option to tank some easier content if you need. So the suggestion was a hybrid spec, which may be nice, but I decided to go pure cat spec for the most part. So this is the spec I went with right here. As you can see, I did have to give up thick hide. I did pick up survival instincts, though I didn't use it, but if you're gonna do 10 mans, you probably want to grab this just in case. I also had to miss out on Protector of the Pack, which isn't a big deal, but you do lose out on the improved Mangle, which reduces your cooldown, so it's going to feel a lot like TBC Mangle, which is fine. Your cycle changes a little bit. Not going to be an issue with threat. And then as far as in the restoration, it looks pretty much just like cat. And then for glyphs, oh, errors everywhere, sorry. Glyph of Savage Roar, Glyph of Shred, and Glyph of Rip. Yep, I'm not changing anything. This is a cat who wants to tank, not a cat trying to make everything work around them to tank. So essentially, standard cat spec. Here's the gear. I did swap some gear in to make it a little bit more tanky. I've got stamina, enchant, but there's agi gems, so they kind of balance out. I mostly went with agi, and then like this, I didn't even bother to make it tanky. I just used whatever I had. I have a tanking weapon that I put stamina on. I have tanking bracers. But for the most part, I didn't really try to go out of my way to make myself a tankier person. When I'm in bear form, fully buffed, I had a priest healer, so my stamina was actually all the way up to my health was all the way up to 31,000. So it was pretty beefy, but as you can see, I didn't really gem. If I wanted to like fully gem, I could have easily gotten up to like 33, 34. But yeah, so I did 2 instances. I did Uckard Keep and Old Kingdom. Old Kingdom, I didn't tell them I was doing this, and Uckard Keep I did, because I wanted to see if they would react. The Old Kingdom, which I did first, they didn't seem to notice any difference. We got through it pretty fine. We did wipe once or twice, but it had nothing to do with me. It was the spell flingers, if you know what I'm talking about. They just focused the healer. I tried to pull off. Nobody was interrupting. It was a whole mess. Anyway, but other than that, all the bosses died fine. As far as Uckard Keep, I did tell them that I was doing this, and they said it's fine. The healer Andred said that everything felt fine, and their mana was full the whole time. Let's look at damage taken really quick. I did 1.5 damage taken. That's about standard for a level 80 heroic. Now, as far as healing done, I can only compare mine. Sorry, not healing taken, healing done. I can only compare mine. I did about 1.5, anywhere from 1.3 to 1.5 as a Resto Druid when I healed heroics. Now, as a Disc Priest, they might heal a little different or focus other things because I have Wild Growth constantly going off, so I'm healing everything all the time. I don't know. I don't know what, if this seems pretty fine to me. I mean, 1.6k doesn't seem very high, especially if you see the numbers you'll be healing with. But yeah, overall, everything went great. We didn't get to test any 10 mans. But we did get to test a bunch of 5. The reason I didn't do 10 is because I'm actually saved on all my characters. I could have created a new one, but it's kind of a pain to set everything up. So I wasn't able to get in there. Plus, I didn't really want to hinder anyone running a Nax 10 with a cat spec. But there is an opportunity for it. So like, if you look even in the chat right now, looking for more Nax 10, we need 1 tank. And people are now willing to take feral tanks. I've done 2 different times as a feral tank, and nobody had a problem with me being there. Once I ran with the DK, once I ran with the Paladin. It fits right in, but as far as cat spec goes, I just didn't want to do the whole thing. Now, I will point out that if you get a couple more pieces of purple gear, this is not even a consideration. You can go full cat, full probably full cat gear, maybe a couple pieces of stand gear just so you've got some comfortable health, and just do whatever you want, super easy. But yeah, again, check out the videos. You can see me just doing a thing. The only thing that I noticed that was like, it was physically noticeable was my tank spec has Glyph of Maul, which is really just a 5-man ability anyway. But because it hits 2 targets, it was easier for me to get that aggro, that threat on multiple targets, because I could tab Maul swipe, and I would get extra threat on 2 targets, tab Maul swipe, extra threat on 2 targets, and it made it a lot easier for me to hold groups. Whereas this one, I had to do it a lot faster because I didn't have the extra Maul, so I had to constantly keep an eye on the groups and possibly taunt off like 1 or 2 mobs if I lost them. Usually it was just because I hadn't given them enough attention. Swipe isn't enough by itself to hold on, so you do have to give everything. So like save your mangle for when you're about to lose threat, things like that. But that's pretty standard for tanking anyway. It's not like a big change from like a regular bear. You still want to use taunt. Because challenging roar is a 3-minute cooldown, feel free to pop that whenever you feel like there's a big group early on that you lose threat to. Just grab them really quick. But yeah, guys, I hope this video explained everything, made you feel more comfortable about cat tanking. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. If you have any suggestions on other things you want me to test, same thing, throw them in the comments. Thanks for watching the video, and as always, guys, take care.